Welcome to Book Bites, your weekly dose of literary delight. We dive into Amazon's top-selling books, giving you the lowdown on what's hot and what's not. Join us as we uncover hidden gems, discuss captivating storylines, and analyze the minds of best-selling authors. Whether you're a seasoned reader or just starting your literary journey, there's something for everyone. So grab a cup of coffee, get cozy, and let's get reading.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're looking at Dana Perino's book, I Wish Someone Had Told Me.
Right.
And we're not just doing a summary, are we? We're really trying to pull out the practical bits.
Exactly. Think of it like getting the core wisdom, the life lessons, without maybe reading every single page. A shortcut, kind of.
And Dana Perino, well, she's got quite the background.
Former White House press secretary, now co-host of The Five. So she's seen things from a pretty unique perspective.
Definitely. High-pressure environments, different kinds of success.
And the book isn't just her story, right? She weaves in insights from interviews she did with lots of different successful people.
Yeah, that's key. So our goal here is to pull all that together, give you the key takeaways, maybe spark some of those aha moments.
Without it feeling like homework.
Exactly. So where should we start? What's a major theme that jumps out?
I think probably the power of humility and listening. It really feels like a foundation for her.
That's interesting, because often career advice is more about, self-promotion, tooting your own horn.
Right. But she draws this contrast. She suggests that, well, maybe the quiet, consistent success comes more from focusing on others, being coachable.
Being open to feedback, basically.
Yeah, really listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but actually trying to understand.
And seeing feedback, even the tough stuff, as a tool for getting better.
Exactly. It fuels that continuous learning cycle, something just promoting yourself doesn't really do in the same way.
Okay, so humility, listening. What about handling pressure? I mean, the White House.
Yeah.
That's pressure.
Oh, absolutely. And she does give some, glimpses behind that curtain, which is fascinating in itself.
But the core lesson isn't about politics specifically.
No, not really. It's more about grace under pressure. That idea that staying calm, thinking clearly, that's often more valuable in a crisis than just scrambling for answers.
Composure is competence.
You could put it that way, yeah. Your ability to stay steady actually is a skill.
That makes sense. Panic rarely helps. Another thing you mentioned she talks about a lot is mentorship.
Yes, definitely. She's a big advocate for it.
Both having mentors and being one.
About both sides of it. She's pretty open about how mentors shaped her own path, gave her advice, opened doors maybe.
And she includes stories of others being helped too, younger people.
Yeah, there are examples in the book. It shows that ripple effect, how guidance can really change a career's direction.
And it connects back to that humility idea, doesn't it? Being willing to be mentored.
Absolutely. And then wanting to pay it forward later on. It highlights how interconnected professional growth really is.
Something else I gathered is that she's pretty honest about, things not always going perfectly.
Yeah.
Failures, setbacks.
Yes, and that's really refreshing, I think. The book doesn't shy away from rejection or mistakes.
Which makes the advice feel more real.
Totally. It makes it relatable, especially if you're just starting out and, things feel tough. It normalizes the bumps in the road.
Like saying, hey, this happens. It's part of the process.
Exactly. It's about how you respond and learn from it, not pretending setbacks don't happen.
So it's not just about career tactics. It seems like there's a layer about deeper meaning too. Values, maybe faith.
There is. She weaves in reflections on character, purpose, aligning your work with, what matters to you long term.
But it's not presented as like a religious guide.
No, not at all. It's more of maybe a spiritual undercurrent, encouraging you to think about that alignment. Does your work feel meaningful to you?
Which is important. Success without meaning can feel a bit empty. Right?
Precisely. She connects professional life with those deeper values.
Okay, so thinking about the book overall, what are its biggest strengths, would you say?
Well, first off, it's just very readable, accessible, clear, kind of warm writing style.
Good for anyone, really, regardless of where they are in their career.
I think so. And second, the advice feels actionable. Those little summaries she has, they help you actually think about how to apply things.
Practical takeaways.
And third, the range of voices she includes. Getting perspectives from business, military, media. It makes the advice feel more universal, well-rounded.
Plus, you mentioned it feels hopeful.
Yeah, even when talking about challenges, the overall tone is quite uplifting. Empowering, maybe.
Okay, but no book is perfect. What about potential limitations? Where might it fall short for some readers?
Well, if you're after a super rigid, step-by-step career plan, this isn't really it. It's more thematic, offering principles.
Guiding ideas rather than a checklist.
Right. Also, while the principles are broad, a lot of the specific stories, the anecdotes, they do tend to come from certain worlds. Media, politics, corporate life.
So someone in a very different field might not connect with every example quite as directly.
Potentially, yeah. The connection might not always feel one-to-one, even if the underlying advice still applies.
Got it. So wrapping up, what's the general consensus? The final verdict from our sources?
Overwhelmingly positive, really. It gets high marks, typically around 4.5 out of 5 stars.
People find it valuable then.
Yeah, words like wise, encouraging, well-crafted come up a lot. It seems to deliver on that promise of useful life and career advice.
That blend of humility and insight seems key.
Humility, a bit of humor, real insight. That combination makes it a worthwhile read for growth, both personal and professional.
So if we boil down this whole deep dive on I wish someone had told me, what's the absolute core message for listeners to take away?
I think it really comes down to remembering the importance of humility, building resilience for the tough times, the value of mentorship, both seeking it and offering it, and maybe most importantly, making sure your work aligns with your values for a life that feels, truly successful and meaningful.
Not just successful on paper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meaningful to you.
Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. Pick one thing we talked about that really struck you. Maybe it was the listening part or mentorship or even just reframing a setback. And just think, what's one small doable step you could take this week based on that insight? What might shift if you approach something with a bit more humility or maybe offered some guidance to someone else? Just something to consider.
That's all for this episode of Book Bites. We hope you enjoyed our review, and if you did, please like, share, and follow our podcast. And don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts on the book. We love hearing from our listeners.